government has a threshold responsibility to secure our borders. And that's why I directed my Secretary of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, a former border governor, to improve our enforcement policy without having to wait for a new law. So the bottom line is this: the southern border is more secure today than at any time in the past 20 years.
Question that the border from a security standpoint is stronger than it's ever been. And the Congress has helped. It's one area where they've actually been appropriating the money to do the job. So you have more boots on the ground, air cover, as I mentioned, we call it boots in the air, technology and the like.
Then they wanted a fence. Well, the fence is now basically complete. Then we've gone further. We tripled the number of intelligence analysts working at the border. I've deployed unmanned aerial vehicles to patrol the skies from Texas to California. We have forged a partnership with Mexico. So here's the point. I want everybody to listen carefully to this. We have gone above and beyond what was requested by the very Republicans who said they supported broader reform as long as we got serious about enforcement. All the stuff they asked for, we've done. But even though we've answered these concerns, I've got to say I suspect there's still going to be some who are trying to move the goalposts on us one more time. You know, they said we needed to triple the Border Patrol. Or now they're going to say we need to quadruple the Border Patrol. Or they'll want a higher fence. Maybe they'll need a moat. Maybe they want alligators in the moat. They'll never be satisfied.
When it comes to border security, I think anyone who looks at this honestly will note the tremendous strides we have made in the past 4 years in protecting our borders. In fact, they have never been better enforced than they are now. And over the past 4 years, this administration has dedicated unprecedented resources to secure the border, taken important steps to make interior and worksite enforcement of our immigration laws smarter and more effective. And we have made historic investments in manpower, technology, and infrastructure to help secure our borders. And like I said, our borders now are more secure than they have ever been in history.
Tonight with stunning breaking news as a major crisis at our southern border is unfolding, and yet you have probably heard next to nothing about it. A massive surge of illegal immigrants is underway right now, and we do mean massive. This is unprecedented. Pictures show hundreds upon hundreds of children packed like sardines into detention centers. Most of them here illegally without their parents, and the Border Patrol totally overwhelmed and unable to care for them. Children sleeping on plastic tarps, lacking basic necessities. In one facility in Phoenix, they reportedly have 4 showers for nearly 300 children. After a couple of media outlets started to focus on this, the White House today held a background conference call on its response, but this crisis has been building for months. Now the feds have decided to take some of these children from the overcrowded detention centers, put them on buses, and simply drop them off on street corners in cities like Phoenix, where we got this video just last week. But the big warning tonight, we are told this problem could go from very bad to much, much worse in coming weeks with what is driving this surge. Trace?
And Megan, we have heard for months that people are fleeing Central America to escape the growing gang violence, but the Guatemala ambassador to the U.S. says that's not true. He says they're coming to America for 2 reasons. 1, to meet up with family already here, and 2, because smugglers guarantee to get them into the U.S. In fact, many illegal immigrants who arrive here believe the U.S. has a catch and release policy. If they cross the border, they can stay. And look at the increase. 6,500 unaccompanied kids crossed the border back in 2011. This year, it's estimated to be 90,000. Next year, 147,000. Military bases in Texas, California, and Oklahoma are now being used to house them. Then there's the 1,000-mile-plus journey to get here, riding in the trunks of vehicles, the backs of trailers, or on La Bestia, the beast, a so-called death train where children often fall off or become victims of crime. Arizona Governor Jan Brewer says, quoting here, "I'm disturbed and outraged that President Obama's administration continues to implement this dangerous and inhumane policy." President Obama has yet to respond to Governor Brewer, but the president has asked for an additional $1.4 billion to handle the wave of illegal immigrants.
Illegally. This year they're projecting 90,000 is the projection by our government officials. They're saying it could be as high as 150,000 children who are going to come across that southern border this year alone illegally. We can't handle them, and the question is, why? Suddenly, why?
Well, I don't know why, but I know how. Remember when the president boasted he has a telephone and he has a pen and he knows how to use them? He could stop all of this with a telephone and a pen. Instead, the President of the United States personally and directly caused this with a telephone and a pen.
How?
When he said to illegal immigrants, if you do the following things, and he ticked off 13 different things, I will not let the government deport you. He made up those 13 events that they could do to avoid deportation. When he sent that signal to presently residing in the United States of America illegal immigrants, he also sent a signal to people in South and Central America. Send your children here and they won't get deported. And then you'll have an excuse to come here to be with your children and you won't get deported. Megyn, the president has taken an oath to uphold the law. He has some leeway in enforcing the law, but when what he does prevents the law from being enforced, when he does the opposite of what the law says, he's not doing his duty.
They say that in 2012, President Obama issued this directive called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals.
Right.
It allows illegal immigrant children who come to America to defer their deportations. But that will only apply to children who were here as of 2007. Apparently, these children didn't read the law, Judge.
Apparently,
the administration wants to blame them for not understanding that policy.
The administration ought to know that no one watching this television show now, and you're the only one breaking this, will believe that it is the fault of these children. It is the fault of the federal government of the United States of America, the executive branch, which is run by President Barack Obama, for not enforcing the law. His duty is to enforce the law, and that means discouraging illegal aliens, not encouraging them.